Hi there, this is Charles Kelly, Money Tips. Today I've got a very special guest with me who is going to talk about something different that you might not have heard of on social media. His name is Chandesh Parekh, who is, and I'll give you his bio here, a website accessibility inclusivity consultant, web developer, online reputational marketer. Now, you may not have come across that term, reputational marketing. And Chandesh has been professionally immersed in the World Wide Web over 20 years, so almost going back to when it started, and helps businesses with their online marketing strategies, particularly focusing on customer feedback, ratings, and reviews. So welcome, Chandesh. Chandesh, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thanks, Charles. Thanks for having me on.
Great stuff. Well, of course, I met you at a networking meeting, and I have to say that your field is something I've not really come across in great depth. I mean, I get all these people saying, well, we can get you more likes, we can get you more hits, but that's not what you're about, right? It's not about just getting a load of likes. So tell me about how you work and how you can help businesses increase their presence online and ultimately get more business online.
Yeah, so you mentioned it earlier, is reputation marketing, and this isn't a new field by any means, but I think, as you said, there's not a lot of people who understand what it is, and it's new in not in concept, but certainly in the way that it's being done now. So reputation marketing used to be handled by things like PR agencies.
Yes, yeah.
And they'll be pushing out, articles and all kinds of media on behalf of a brand, just to make sure that they're in the public's eye as much as possible. And
that's the way I think of it. Yeah,
that's right. So reputation marketing is more now about the online way of doing things, and you can't get any better than using customer feedback. So when a brand or a company or a business has customers, and those customers are happy with the experiences that they're having, either with the service or product of that business, and they're happy to talk about it. So you're joining up things like word of mouth marketing, which is very powerful anyway, referral marketing, as it comes to what it comes down to. But we're doing this online. So whereas with your word of mouth marketing, you know one person might tell 6 or 10 people at best. When you put that same referral or review online, that can go out to thousands, potentially millions, depending on where it's been put up. And that's what we do. We help businesses to, first of all, collect feedback from their customers, existing customers. And then we look at that feedback and we decide with that business, should that feedback go out as a review, or should it remain as feedback for the company to work on? It can usually be both anyway. And what this means is that when a company or a brand or business is able to collect feedback quite often from their customers, quite frequently from their customers, it means that when that feedback turns into reviews, it goes onto platforms like Google Reviews or Trustpilot, or any number of them, really. There are a number of platforms out there.
And you do that for the customers. You handle all of that.
That's right. And that review then goes out in front of hundreds, thousands of people where they are. So there might be a potential customer or prospective customer or client who spends their time on Trustpilot and not on Google Reviews. But if we've put that review on both Google Reviews and Trustpilot, then we have covered all bases, as it were. And that is what we do. So we help the business collect feedback, turn that into reviews. We push those reviews out under the customer's name with the consent of the customer, of course.
Right.
And it goes out to all of the platforms that matter to that brand. So if that brand only wants to look at Google Reviews and Facebook reviews, for example, then that's what we'll do. But if they throw in Trustpilot or TripAdvisor, if they're if they're into accommodation or holidays or anything like that, it all depends on the business. They tell us where these reviews need to go, and we push them out. So what we do is help collect, turn them into reviews, and push them out. Right. And and how this helps in a really sort of like a bonus way for the business is that when Google starts to index a website, the business's website, they're also looking at the brand name across the entire internet, trying to find where else this brand has been mentioned. And the more places this brand or business has been mentioned, including all of these review platforms, the better it is for the brand, because their ranking starts to go up without having to pay for SEO, for example.
Right.
And if Google, Bing, the other search engines find these finds the business and the reviews, where the reviews are good reviews, so let's say 3-star, 4-star, 5-star reviews, and keywords have been used in the review text about the services that they offer, and if the reviews are fairly recent, so let's say over the last 2 days, 10 days, a month, all of that contributes to that brand getting higher and higher in the search engine rankings.
So it carries a lot of weight. The reviews, you think the customer reviews carry a lot of weight rather than trying to do things artificially?
Absolutely. So it carries weight with prospective customers who are looking at all these platforms in the first place. When they see that a business has a lot of reviews, a lot of recent reviews, and they're all good reviews. But it also helps on the technical side of things, where search engines will also boost that brand's image online in online search as well. So there's
more engagement there. And these are real reviews, by the way. We're not talking about these so-called fake reviews that you see.
No, not at all. Genuine.
Sometimes you can see this on Trustpilot. You can see what looks like a fake review, the top 3, and then all the rest are bad reviews.
Are bad, exactly. That's right. Yeah.
Difficult to discern between them. But how did you get into this, by the way? I mean, how did you? You've been a lot of things in the last 20 years since the beginning of almost.
That's right. Yeah. So about 20, probably 25 years ago, I started working about 25 years ago, and I started working in marketing for a company. Didn't know much about marketing, but I started picking up on it. I started creating newsletters for this for this business, and I started learning about content and how that matters to the people who read it, and how we can introduce brand, service, all that type of stuff as a form of a story. So that's how it got started. Then in 1998, I came across, the internet was already started to take off by then, by 1998. And I'm originally from Kenya. So we don't have much happening in terms of, at least that time, in terms of internet access and all that type of stuff. But I had picked up, believe it or not, a magazine, a computer magazine that had a cover disc, which had a couple of free programs, and the magazine had an article on how to create a website and how to push it up onto the internet.
Really?
So I sat down on my computer for a few hours, created a website, connected to the internet, and pushed this very, very bad website out onto the internet. And I thought, this is incredible. And I was hooked from that point on.
Wow.
So I went on to study web design and development. And that's what I've been doing now for the last, 22 years, really.
So you were very early into that then?
I was.
And there was just maybe a few 100,000 or a couple of million websites on the web. You were.
Back then, yeah.
This is the dial-up modem, is it? When you get this.
It was very much, yes. Yes, yeah, the click and whistles of the modem. Yes.
And then you're halfway through doing something, it comes off.
And it clicks off.
That's amazing. So you've helped a lot of companies since then develop brands, products. That's what you've done yourself. And it's always been in your own business, mostly in your own business.
Well, no, working for other brands actually. So I worked for a software company. I worked for a blue chip IT forum company as well. And I worked for publishing companies. And then 5 years ago, almost exactly 5 years ago, I started my own company called NERO Digital. And since then, I've been doing high-end websites. I've started doing website accessibility, which is all about helping websites be usable by everybody, regardless of their abilities. So whether a person has visual impairments, or they have fine motor skill issues with using their hands to control a keyboard or a mouse, a website should be accessible to everybody, and that's what I help brands do as well. Amazing. And the other side of that then is the whole reputation marketing, which is what I'm doing now. Yeah.
That's amazing. So I mean, you only work with big companies. I see these things when I use British Gas, British Telecom, they send me a text, what did you think of the service? And it says, we'll ask you a couple of quick questions. And it goes on about, 20 questions, and you can't leave it until you've finished it. And but it's only the big brands that kind of do that. You don't. Do you only work with big companies, or do you work with small and
No.
medium-sized enterprises?
We work with all sorts of companies. So especially regarding the reputation marketing, we have clients. We have clients first of all in 17 countries.
Really?
We have well over 1,000 clients, and the size of the company ranges from 1 to 2 people operations all the way up to large hospitals, private hospitals. So this works for everybody.
So you can work with small companies with maybe smaller budgets up to larger companies with much bigger budgets who can do
Absolutely
amazing things.
Yeah,
well, that's great. And how are you finding business at the moment? Is business going well? Is it booming at the moment? Are there a lot of demand?
it is. It's fine. I think there's been a little bit of a tremor in the financial sense, especially here in the UK, regarding how the last mini budget went, and then what the budget stated a couple of weeks ago. But I think businesses understand that even in times of turmoil like this, they still need to be seen by their customers. Yes. And they still need to be seen in a good light by their customers. So it's not just enough to have, for example, a website or to talk about their business somewhere. Customers need proof. They need social proof that the brand or business that they want to either buy from or interact with in some way or form is going to give them the value that they expect. And so we are finding that businesses are still picking up on using our services. Just before our call today, I was signing up a new client. They offer IT training services here in the UK, in London especially. So no, we're not finding any problems with business at the moment.
Yeah, I think certainly that the events of the last few years has got people more used to using online.
That's right.
And we just had Black Friday, and obviously billions would have been spent online.
Yes.
Then, I mean, the early days doing business online was considered a huge risk, but now you've actually got more rights when you buy something online. You've got more rights to return it, for instance, and if you use a credit card, you've got quite a lot of power there to get your money back if things go wrong. So,
yeah,
we've seen that. Even I'm in Rotary, and even the 90-year-olds are still on. They're used to getting on Zoom meetings now, even though they've only just learned how to use the internet a few years ago. But it's amazing how people have adapted to Zoom meetings and Team and this sort of thing, and it's amazing that we can FaceTime people all over the world. So it should be the ideal time for your business. That
absolutely
businesses need to be. It's not just about having a website anymore, is it? It's much more than that.
Visibility, social proof. And I think you're right. The COVID years really helped to sort of push technology forward for a lot of people who were probably reticent about using things like Zoom or WhatsApp video or anything like that in the past. All of a sudden, there was no choice. That was the only way we could stay in touch with people. In a lot of cases, that was the only way we could do any shopping as well. It had to be online. So that's sort of broken down that barrier, and now, you're right. There are more and more people using the internet and are comfortable using it, and now they're also getting smarter about recognizing how to judge whether they should or should not spend money with a brand.
Right, and definitely they're looking for this, as you call it, social proof before they would trust that company. So you mean to say if they're looking at various websites, they might just look at one and say, well, there's no social proof here, and move on to another one.
Yes, absolutely. That actually happens a lot. So if you had two businesses that were offering the same product or service, for example, and all else being equal, when a person searches for them, and this is especially useful for businesses that have bricks and mortars operations, local search is so powerful. And so if a person were to search for a brand, for a service, for example, in their local area, and there were two companies offering that service. And like I said, with all else being equal, the only difference was that one company had reviews and the other company didn't, or one company had more recent reviews and the other company had very old reviews. The there's a very strong likelihood that that the business would go to the company that had the more recent reviews, even if they had fewer reviews than the other company, because just because they were recent and the customer or prospective client could look at that and say, well, their latest review, it's a 4-star review, 5-star review, and it's only 3 weeks old. It's current. These are the people that we want to talk to. And if they looked at the reviews of the other company and the latest review was 6 months ago, even if it was a 5-star review, but it was 6 months ago, they're not going to have that much interest because 6 months is a long time.
It
so,
is, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's important that I think what I'm hearing here is that you can't just leave these things to chance. You've got to actually actively work at collecting and asking for review, because people, I guess we're lazy. We're not going to give a review unless we're asked to give a review. Like on Amazon, you buy something on Amazon, you're asked to give a review, and sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But if you're not doing business on their platform, as you said, a bricks and mortar business, you've got an estate agency or something, and some of the websites are terrible you see out there. They're just a static, bland website, some properties on there, but no way of collecting reviews, and that's where you come in.
That's right. So we make it easier for the businesses to collect the reviews. And the way we do it as well is that what we're actually doing is collecting feedback, and that feedback that gets turned into reviews with the consent of that customer.
Right.
And we make it easy because we have our own platform that does the collecting, and we offer a very convenient way for that business to set up and just collect reviews. Just ask their customers to go onto a web page and spend 30 seconds to a minute filling out a form, and that's it. What does tend to happen as well is that where we have power is that we're able to amplify those reviews. Like I said, that they go to multiple platforms. And this company, this IT company I was just speaking to before our call today, Charles, they highlighted one of the problems that they were having is that they have a lot of students like that come through their courses. But if you ask a student to leave a Google review, you're not going to ask that same student to then go into Trustpilot and leave a review there as well. And you'll ask once and leave it at that, Whereas what we can do is we can ask for the feedback that gets turned into a review, and that goes out to both Google reviews and Trustpilot.
Great points.
So it's all about helping the business collect and then amplify the reviews. Yeah,
that's a great point, because as you say, if you ask for a Google review and you go to Google and you've got to log in, and then you find your login, and then it says, no, that's not your password. You say, I got it written down here, it's my password. And and this could be a hassle, and then they might not do it. And then you've got to ask them to do that on several sites. It's not going to happen.
No.
So you're centrally collecting these, and then you push them out to potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people's view, that could see these or feedback and reviews.
That's right.
So I think it's a great business. It sounds like you should be booming with this concept.
Well, 17 countries, so yeah, it's doing well.
Yeah, so whatever happens to the UK, you've got your back covered with other countries.
That's right.
We know that every year the amount of business that's done online goes up and up and up.
Yeah.
And the amount of training and courses that are done online just seems to go up and up. I mean, I offer an online money management and finances course online, and people are comfortable with that. People are comfortable coming to a meeting online or a group coaching or having coaching online without actually going somewhere to see somebody and traveling. So everything is opened up in that way. So it should be no better time in history really to launch a business and get out there online, and as long as you're doing it the right way.
Exactly.
And can we talk about advertising at the moment? Because a lot of people just think, well, if I go to Facebook and I set up an ad account and then push out a load of ads, that's going to do. What do you think of that? Because obviously if they're drawn to your page and then there's nothing else there, there's no reviews, it could be a waste of money.
Absolutely. So it's a great way to convert traffic, having reviews on your website. So that's the other thing that we do is once we've collected the feedback from the customer and they become reviews and they go out to these multiple platforms, we then have a way of displaying all of those reviews on the company's website as well. And like you said, they might already be paying for Google ads or Facebook ads. And when traffic is being sent to that website, being able to see live reviews.
And that sort of that method.
Yes, that's right. So it's having good number of online reviews, especially on one's website, which is what we can do as well. We can bring together all of your reviews from all the multiple platforms, display them on your website. And what this helps to do is if you were doing things like Facebook ads or Google ads and driving traffic to your website, when that prospective customer lands on the website and sees all these reviews, sees that they're recent, sees that there's many of them and they're all genuine, it just helps with that conversion. So it helps with the ROI of other digital marketing channels as well, especially things like PPC advertising. Okay. And SEO as well. Like I was saying earlier, is that being present on all these platforms, having a good number of reviews means that the search engines give that company's profile a much higher ranking anyway. So when you're doing SEO, that all just feeds into it. Throwing things like advertising, social media marketing, all of those channels get a much better ROI once your reputation has been established using reviews.
So how do people get in touch with you? I'm going to put a link up, by the way, but what's the best way people can follow you? And
sure. So yeah, you'll see on my little bit down there, it says NERO Digital Co UK. So that's my website. So anyone can get in touch with me there. Book a call in as well. I do free consultations around reputation marketing. In fact, one of the things that I do when I'm speaking to someone new about this and they book a call in is I will go through a report that I'll generate of their current reputation standing digitally, and it's free for them. It's free for the caller, and I'll go through it and explain what bits need fixing. And a lot of the times, people aren't really aware of what's actually wrong with their website, for example, or if they're present on different platforms, like they have a Google business profile, they're on Facebook, they're on TripAdvisor, but the information doesn't match up. My report will highlight all those things. And that's the first step in having a really good reputation, is making sure that everything is the same across all of the platforms that you're working on. So yeah, either through my website, I'm Chandesh Parekh on LinkedIn. Just look me up, or search for NERO Digital on LinkedIn, and you'll find me. And yeah, I'll be happy to connect.
Okay, great. And just a reminder, folks, that this is something very important. If you've just got a website or you've got a business, I mean, I know things have moved on from the days when you just say, look, I need to get a couple of pages website up there. But a lot of businesses are still in those dark ages. So it's gone beyond that now. It's about social proof. It's about feedback. It's about people looking at your website and seeing, well, how does this look? How do you look on Trustpilot? How do you look on Google Business? If you've even got a Google Business account, which a lot of people may not have. So it's not just enough to pump money into Facebook ads, because that Facebook will take the money, and they'll put an ad out for you. But what good is it going to do you if they get to your page and it's not there? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And things like that are very short term as well. So you could drive traffic using PPC even through Google Ads, but that doesn't give you long-term traffic. It doesn't give you the long-term trust with that customer either. Right. Whereas reviews are something that people can keep going back to, and they can see that there's growth there. So if a business is really on top of things and they're picking up 3, 4, 5 new reviews every month, even today, if a prospective customer came to a website, came to Google, they did a search and they found only, let's say, 20 reviews, 5-star reviews, and thought, yeah, that's not really enough for me. But in another 2 months, there's another 10 or 12 reviews on there. They can see there's growth, there's more people using it. It gives them that additional trust that they can engage with that brand. So reputation marketing is all about establishing the baseline of trust with what you do to build a relationship with that customer over the long term. Things like ads are very quick. The moment you stop paying for those ads, the traffic stops. But things like this, because they're almost perpetual, there will always be on the TripAdvisor platform. They'll always be on the Google reviews platform. They build trust over a period of time, and it stays, and it's there for the long term.
That's great. So it's not just the quick fix, as it were. This is a long-term solution. So,
that's right.
So that's been really interesting, Chandesh. It's been fascinating hearing about that again. And while we're on that subject, if you do like this content that you see on this podcast, on Charles Kelly Money Tips podcast, or whether you're watching it on any channel, please give me a review. Please like, share, and give me the thumbs up, because that helps with, I'm sure Chandesh will know what an algorithm is, but I'm sure it will help with algorithms, whatever they are, to get my name out there and get that out. But I try to give financial education, just ways of improving your business on this channel. So please do like and share it. And once again, thanks very much for your time, Chandesh, and taking time out of your busy day. But I'll put a link up to Chandesh's sites in the description, and you can contact him for a free consultation, and he'll show you how you look online. It's not just about how your website looks, but how people see it, how the Googles of this world see you. Because a lot of people don't realize what your ranking is. They don't know how people look. I mean, you might be looking at something and someone is seeing it in a different way because they're not logged in, etc. Mm-hmm. So you need to know these things, and Chandesh can give you that free report. So do look out for that. Okay, do check him out for that. So once again, thanks very much, Chandesh. And
thank you, Charles. It's a pleasure.
I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.
For sure.